Hello, one and all, and welcome to another Workbench Wednesday. Now, last week I skipped out on this. What happened was I really messed up my timing on things, and I had to get a painting video out the door. So, recorded that on Wednesday, and then I didn't really want to do Workbench Wednesday 2 this time. It's Thursday. It wasn't doing it for me. And as well, I didn't really have a great deal to show you that time around. So, whoops, but I do want to keep this a fairly regular occurrence because you folks seem to have really gotten on with it. And some folks were leaving really cool comments for what they were doing. So I want to keep it up too because a little bit of a hobby punch in the arm from folks really helps keep me motivated as well. So let's open strong. What I've got in front of me, this is the weekend's work, although the rhino you would have seen go up yesterday in a video. This one I did yesterday, and the tactical squad was a couple of hours over Saturday and Sunday. And I really enjoyed doing them. These are literally painted in the same way as the speed painting guide that I did for pretty much every legion so far. There is the 1-minute video for these guys and the Cataphract Terminator 2. So if you want to know how I did them, you've already seen that. But for the sake of demonstration, you can see they definitely work en masse. Although I need to get some grass tufts. I've run out of the tufts I like for these sort of irradiated looking bases. And yeah, one last detail. If you'd told me years ago that I would ever be doing a Death Guard army, I probably would have laughed. These guys, they never really appealed until reading up some of the lore in one of the old Horus Heresy rulebooks, talking about the Death Guard previously when they were the Dusk Raiders Legion. And how when they finally met their Primarch, Mortarion, they kind of realized straight away something wasn't quite right with this guy. All of the other legions, the finding and the reunification with their Primarch was a joyous occasion. But for the Dusk Raiders, here comes this tall, thin white dude who decides, yeah, you guys are now called the Death Guard. And on top of that, the recruitment immediately switches from Terra to barbarous locals or natives, and Mortarion immediately begins favoring the sons of Barbarous. And these poor Terran legionnaires who've been, keeping things together for a good few decades, they're very much put by the wayside. And I think it reflects in a larger way the story of the heresy. This whole idea that there's brother pitted against brother. That happens in the Death Guard in a very specific way. So the loyalists, which I'm going to do, these guys deliberately don't have a lot of markings, really just unit markings on the chapter badge, because I kind of feel some of these guys are going to be drawn together from across different squads. They're likely just going to strip off, get rid of their old identification, and as much as possible, I want them to look tidier than the rebels, the heresy side of things. Still a lot in the form of, armor chipping and what have you, because the Death Guard notoriously don't spend a lot of time buffing and polishing their armor. But on top of that, the idea that they would make time for dressing up and smartening up their gear when there's a war to be fought, I don't think so. So yeah, I wanted to stick to rough, but very simple and quite tidy. So that's why they look the way they do. Looking forward to painting some more of these. We've got another tactical squad that I want to do this weekend, and then I've got a dreadnought and a couple of the characters, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm really at the moment just painting to build the army. Nobody near me plays Horus Heresy, and I am unlikely to find an opponent. This is a hobby project which grabbed me quite unexpectedly. It really got my imagination, caught my attention in a way I wasn't expecting. There's also this fella here I painted yesterday. Now he is from the Artisan Designs range. They do a fairly comprehensive range of like Victorian, steampunk, spaceship combat stuff. It's cool. Really suggest follow the link in the description, go check them out. Luckily, Artisan have an EU distributor, so I can still pick these up without having to pay customs through the nose. But the idea here was that Stargrave doesn't really have a specific look to it. The miniature kits, of course, they look for want of a better term, they're quite generic sci-fi. Really nice, but they are there that you can do whatever you want with them. And then it occurred to me as I was rummaging through some old metal blister packages, well, why couldn't I use these guys? So Steampunk Stargrave is what came to mind, and immediately I knew I wanted to paint this big bonkers phlogiston rifle. So I had a lot of fun with him. It was too hot to record, unfortunately, but just doing something for its own sake and to make me happy, that was nice. I really recommend, if ever you've got the opportunity, you've got some spare time, just paint something because it interests you. Don't always be painting for an army or for a project. Just now and then, be a hobby butterfly. Pick something which is interesting with no possible use to you. It's not going to go in an army. You just thought it would be neat. Which does actually segue nicely to, I have over here, this is going to be the color scheme for the Imaginations, the fictional German state that I want to do for maybe Silver Bayonet, although if I paint enough of them, I could probably play a proper, like Black Powder or something. This fella, he is one of the he's one of the Hessians from Piano War Games. Just astonishingly, they are gorgeous sculpts. I love them so much. He's a 3D print. You would never know it until you picked him up. They're just beautiful. Vallejo Light Sea Grey is the unexpected star of the show here. I really like how that jacket turned out. He was a lot of fun. This state needs a name. The joke in my head is always Graf von Steinberg versus Bergstein. So I don't know. Coming up with a German state name, it's always Berg or Stein or something like that. I gotta have a think about that. And one of the other really cool things about Piano War Games is that the white metal versions of these, they are available for sale too. And I believe they've just started shipping. So if for some reason you want to paint Hessians or Würzburgers or similar, cruise along, check out Piano War Games. Just absolutely astonishingly beautiful sculpts. Now, a couple of the other things that I'm really excited for, and I kind of feel bad because they are Kickstarters and they are for 3D printers, but I'm keen and they are what I'm excited about, so I want to show you anyway. So this fella here, he is from Quartermaster 3D, who has done a couple of really successful Kickstarters in the past. You've already seen his stuff on the channel. I did the Solaran Dragoon and the Easterling-inspired bad guys for Lord of the Rings before. The elves are coming up soon, and he very kindly sent me one of these preview pieces. They're cool. It's come off the printer really nicely, but the thing I like as well is when you see sculptors move away a little bit from what a movie says. You can still very clearly see the influence of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings here, but there's those little touches which set it apart and make it something unique. So I like playing with visual styles like that. Really looking forward to these. I'll pop a link to the email notification page so you can be shown that one when it shows up. There's also a bunch of really cool previews. He's got some painted examples on his Facebook page already, so make sure you check those out. These are going to be so nice. And one of the other Kickstarters I'm keen about, which I don't have a model for, unfortunately, there is a Western-themed one, Kickstarter by Join or Die, which is from 3D Breed. And they've done a couple of 15mm World War II. They did Romans and Carthaginians. So they've done a bunch of small-scale historical stuff, but the upcoming Western stuff is 28 to 32mm, and man, it looks stunning. Really just stunning. It is for a home printer, but if you've got one, check that one out. I've got nothing to show you, tragically, but I've already gone all in on that one. And then, finally, got to speak very, very softly. Don't want to scare the tiny tank. This is from the Enlisted Army pack from the Lazy Forger. He is writing a game. Full Spectrum Dominance is the name of it. And that's freely available. That's on their Facebook group. You can download that for free. It's 28 pages or so of rules, and people are really enjoying it. I've had a read through. It looks interesting. I haven't had a chance to play. But the miniature support for it is just, these are so cool. They also scale up, apparently, really well to 10 or 15 millimeter. I think I'm going to stick to 6 because these will take no time at all to paint. And they're so cute. I think, for an actual gaming piece, I will probably glue the turret in. But this is just one of the battle tanks. I love wheeled battle tanks. I think that's a really cool design note. It looks a bit more sci-fi. You can sort of see these trundling across alien terrain. But yeah, looking forward to painting this, probably doing a few more, and yeah, go check that one out. So there it is, a mission update, what I've been up to and what I'm excited for. And again, the question goes out to you. What are you guys doing? What are you painting at the moment? What are you building? I know a lot of you are still working on your Horus Heresy stuff, but what else is there? What have you finished recently? And if you have got anything that you want to show me, you can either pop it along on Instagram or on Twitter. Those are the easiest ways to get in touch. So as always, folks, last thing to do. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.